This is a trip we had to Whistler. This was us out of White Rock, BC as well.
Andrew and Matthew Millar are going through their father's belongings at his house in Martinsville. But they say Ken Millar cared more about spending time with friends and family.
He would say his home here was just four walls to sleep in, and he was always going out and seeing people, going for coffee.
Millar also loved airplanes. Sadly, the last plane he was on was a Learjet, transporting him to Toronto's Humber River Hospital. The 61-year-old COVID patient was sent out of province because of Saskatchewan's ICU crunch. Millar died on November 4th. He wasn't vaccinated. His sons say they encouraged him to get the shot, but he was hesitant because of misinformation from some friends and social media. The last time he could speak, before he was intubated, he apologized for not getting vaccinated.
He could barely talk, right? Because he could barely breathe. So he was struggling to just even to breathe, but he wanted to tell me that he was so sorry and that he had no idea. And he repeated that over and over again.
A painful experience, they say, made worse by how the province handled it. After Millar died, it took 5.5 days to transport his body home. Andrew says the Saskatchewan government was unprepared and unhelpful.
I had to have so many calls with people just to get them, to bring them back. And in the end, they didn't bring my dad back home. The funeral home in Saskatoon stepped in and said, hey, we have a location here where your dad's at. He was in Calgary at the time, so he made one plane flight. And the funeral home stepped in and they drove out there and they drove my dad back.
Health Minister Paul Merriman today said he didn't know the details of what happened to Millar.
Extremely unfortunate. If there's somebody that's been delayed 5 days, I'll have to look into that and get the specific information as to why that was. It might be something on the Ontario end, it might be on our end, but we endeavor to work with the families to make sure that they can have the proper closure that they need.
Andrew and Matthew held Millar's funeral on Saturday.
I just really want people to understand that, we don't want them to go through this, because this was rough.
They hope no one goes through the same experience with an unvaccinated loved one. Yasmin Ranea, CBC News, Saskatoon.